lashing out and letting them do whatever, or being nasty and lashing out and not saying anything. If zero is not saying anything, walking
Okay.
away, and lashing out is 100, what would you be comfortable that you're not your mother? What number?
I just recently realized I'm not her. Because she was physically abusive, I'm not. I mean, I think it's better I called my husband to help me versus, just saying the first thing that comes to my brain and later going, oh, I'm so sorry,
But are you her when you apologize? Are you her when you lash out?
No, I actually have real reasons. Like, I get calls from principals and stuff. I would say I explore the negative feelings with them when it merits for it now. I don't just go, you left this towel on the floor. You're stupid, you're this, that. I'm just like, I'll say, what the fuck, your towel's on the floor. Like, you don't know how to pick it up and hang it up. That's the most I'll say. Other than that, I'm really awkwardly silent. They'll know I'm upset if I'm quiet and I just do this. And I walk away.
Is there, between 0 and 100, is there another way, instead of just keeping quiet, what's another way that you can express yourself without going to the other extreme?
I don't know.
I think that's what you need to explore, because
I'm learning it.
you're swallowing your emotions and your feelings instead of trying to express them, because you are afraid that if you do, you'll go to the other extreme. But what is it you're teaching your children when you keep quiet and they know you're upset?
They won't open up.
And then
And that they only have two choices, good or bad,
Right.
which is the bipolar. There's
Right.
only one or two ways. There
Oh.
are two ways to do something.
Right. I'll either keep quiet or
Or
explode.
explode.
Yeah.
But if you try to go a little further, and you can be honest, I tell my kids I'm really mad. And they know I'm mad, but I feel like I need to tell them. That's just a little extra there.
that I'll tell them.
Let me give you a little extra. I
Yeah.
am really mad, just in case you
You did
didn't
not
know
know.
this.
I also go about it, but I go about it in a positive way. Dr. Yahia has taught me that. And I tell my son right now, I'm upset, so please go away. May you please go away. Even though he's 2.
Yeah. I think if I use better wording, I think they'd understand a little more, but they like to baby me.
Well, they
So-
don't want to see you upset, and they want to try to help, but they're not sure what to do. So if you help them to understand, I'm upset right now, and I'm trying to work through it to let you know so that we can work on it together, as opposed to, I am so mad right now, I can't, and that could happen too, but
Yeah.
I'll do that. I'll say, I need to go now because
Yeah.
I'm really mad, and then come back and then talk about it.
boundaries are
So the
good.
humanistic-
It's not a problem. You just have to figure out a way to set it where it's not necessarily hurting you. Because it's not gonna hurt them, it's gonna hurt you.
And they won't understand.
And it's your trauma, it's not their trauma.
Right, it's yours.
So the humanistic philosopher, so humanistic is one of the schools of psychology, you studied that in intro. Carl Rogers, when him and his wife used to fight, he used to go out into his garden and he would wear a hat. And that would let her know that he wasn't ready to talk about it. And then he would take off the hat, and then that would let her know that she could approach him. So maybe you guys can have some lingo like that you don't have to swallow it, but it lets them know mom needs her space. And
then-
that'll help with the boundaries.
Exactly, and you could always say, I've done this,
Bless you.
bless you,
Thank you.
I've done this too, or I'll say, I don't want to talk about this right now. I'll say,
I've said
we'll
that.
come back.
Or even
They
if,
follow me.
even if you're.
They will follow me with it. Like, I will tell them, I don't want to talk about it. Well, I did this and upset. I don't want to talk about it right now. marching little feet right there, and
Okay,
then,
but you made a comment earlier, and this is me as a teacher now to you as a student. Very, very common. Children triangulate with their parents. Children love to parent their parents. So this is going to take you back to my theory, which you haven't gotten that much of, but you'll get more and more. What happens is that children come to meet their parents' needs, not the other way around. Okay? It is, we think that parents come to meet the children's needs. Okay, and this idea of unconditional love, no. So that's why they baby you, and that's why they come after you. Because what they're doing is mom okay? Is mom okay? Because the moment that you're okay, oh my gosh, she loves me. Oh, okay, we're gonna get fed tonight. Okay. And fed could be food, or could be love, or could be validation, or could be whatever their need is.
just reading them.
And just like that,
So-
like when they make a mess, to go back on what she said, instead of just "Ugh," or your quietness, mommy will like it if you clean this up. Mommy appreciate it, or mommy this, mommy that. It's just like you letting them know if they clean up after themselves, something you don't have to do.
Yeah.
That's another
Yeah.
reward.
So
And that's a boundary
something
that you need to put in place with them.
See, I didn't know that was a boundary, and that's something I've always had issues with, was the positive part of it. It's not that I don't want to do it, it's there, it's deep right in there, it's fire burning, but I can't,
express it.
yeah, I'm not in tune with my emotions like that.
And also just because we talked briefly outside of class, going back to the triangle that they relate more to you, could it also be because you've also told me about your ex-husband and the relationship? So they only see.
He's the father.
My ex-husband's the father to two of them,
And
and they don't have any of it.
Nasty, right? That's-
Yeah, he's something. And the boys have always only had me. I mean, they have my husband, they love my husband.
Right, but it's
But-
not their dad.
No, that's their daddy. They love him wholeheartedly, that's
No,
their
no, I'm
daddy.
talking biological.
Biological, no, it's not their dad, but when it comes to, like, if I'm sitting in the living room and I'm sewing a blanket, I have four of them arguing who's gonna sit with me. And I have my adopted mom sitting there, and my husband sitting in a room, and I'm like, well, why don't you all just sit on my lap? And I'm just scared to say that one day, because they're probably all gonna try to jump and sit on my lap. So it's, the positivity's there, and I know they come to me for a reason, which has helped me starting to accept myself. Because why would they want to come to someone who's so,
You're
horrible
the
to them.
safe place though. You're the.
and that's what my
only
oldest
safe
says, you're safe, we know, and I've told them, I've sat them down just like this, and I've sat them and I said, listen, this is going, I'm going to apologize, I've been extra emotional, if he doesn't go away. Oh.
Oh,
But we explained to them why we are the way we are, and what we need to do.
Please, can you please wait outside? We're in the middle of an activity. Thank you.
But we've sat down and explained to them. I've told them, listen, mommy's just sad today. Let's just sit and watch a movie, and they'll accept that from me. But it's when I don't tell them what's wrong.
because they are at a loss, and like any of us would do, we start to make up scenarios in our heads. And then kids especially, they start to feel like they're at fault for something. She must be upset with me for something.
And they'll always ask, did I do something? I'm like, no,
Exactly.
you're fine.
So if you explain to them, then they'll, oh, okay, it's not, okay, fine. And then they'll be a little clearer as to, okay, they might also give you space and give you all the things that you need, because now they understand a little bit more.
And you also, me and Daniela can relate. You also, like you said, like you just tired, your body is trying to let it out. Being in this class,
This comes out.
This class in itself is just therapy. I can't
trust me, See,
my
when
hair
I
yesterday.
say
Well,
your body is constantly being triggered. You may not know what you're crying for, but on the inside you definitely do. Cause I promise you, 100% can say like there are times I'm super happy and then out of nowhere, this mood just come over me due to the fact that I know inside I have so much I haven't expressed or I haven't said or I haven't been able to experience, and it bothers me. I don't know directly what it is, but I know by me holding so much in,
It's something that's
it hurts.
there.
Yeah, and it's
And that's
just
what
like
it is with me. It's
you
there,
you
but it's not.
you have to take care of yourself before you can fully take care of somebody else, and that's even with your kids, because you can try to do something, you're constantly holding yourself back. Later, you're going to regret everything you did not do or get a chance to do. So,
and
hashtag do it differently.
yeah, and it's okay to express yourself, even to your kids. I mean,
It's
I'll
hard.
find myself saying,
It's a mission.
Oh no, I was thinking that could be the next tattoo right here. Do it differently. Something to look at.
Hashtag.
Do it differently.
But you
Yeah,
can
bring
tell
it
you
back.
can express yourself in little ways. You can. I did it the other day. I'm like, I'm so tired. Well, instead of being angry at my kids or rolling my eyes or just, I just say, okay, listen, I'm tired right now. So they understand. Okay, we're gonna keep quiet and do. I'm tired, and this needs to happen. You need to do this because I'm tired and I'm done. So they understand that I've reached my limit and they have to act a certain way so that we don't have issues.
One of the things that I'd like for you to do for homework is I'd like for you to define nasty, but I would like for you to define it in measurable terms. When clients come to us and they give us just terms like love or nasty or hate or anything, we want to try to get them to really define the words with something that's measurable. And I always use this example, and Tanisha's the only person who, oh no, is it you who doesn't want to be rich?
Yeah. It's not.
Tanisha, who doesn't want, everyone wants to be rich, okay, except her. But we all want to be rich, but we all have different definitions of rich. For you, it might be $1 million in the bank. For me, it might be $20 million in the bank, okay? So we need to get the client's definition of what it is. I think that if you can get very clear on your definition of nasty, that's going to help you with your parenting. Because then you're going to be very clear that just because you don't have 4 kids sitting on you, just because you don't tuck your kids into bed, just because you don't say I'm angry, doesn't mean that you're nasty or not nasty. So I'd like for homework for you to just try to define in measurable terms, you don't understand what I mean by measurable, what the definition of nasty for you is. Okay.
By the way, that's why I asked you.
My question for Paola before.
Oh, yes, before we wrap.
All right, so once again, I loved it. I loved it. Because it was just like, what the fuck? Because I would write, you would say something like you started off with just everything like question. Everything you said from the minute you open your mouth, was like, holy shit, wait a minute, slow down now.
Because you'd be
Yes, so
they will sit there.
But Paula did 2 great things.
I like
She
it.
kept giving back. You would say
When you're
something and she
nervous.
kept giving back. The only thing I would
Explain,
say was don't give yes or no questions. You still did that a little, but really you were wonderful.
And
My
I
question
would just
was-
put 2 cents in too, that, I felt like what I used to do when I first started was the pauses. You were like uncomfortable with the pause,
Yeah.
you felt like you had to ask something real quick, or, let me ask you about this. And so you just let her talk, because you'd be surprised what comes out once they start talking, and then maybe they'll have a thought, and then they'll say something else. So maybe just pausing for not even a minute, 30 seconds might give her a chance to say, well, I also thought of this, or this happened.
Okay, what gets me stuck is just why I'm asking the question I'm asking. Like your flow is just, once again, marvelous. My question is, what made you ask about her husband? I wouldn't even went that way. Like the kids, I can understand, but it's like when you asked about her husband, it's like, oh shit, that was so smart of you. Like that was just like, what made you ask about her husband?
Well, going back to her mother relationship was,
Mhm.
I wanted to know her, she said something about compliments. So
Yeah,
I wanted to know how her husband made her feel as, you know.
but the
like-
compliments ain't come from her husband.
No,
The fact that she
right,
even
but
brought up the
how did,
question.
if he
Yeah.
gave her compliments, if for
Because when you think
him,
of
Yeah, because I
compliments,
wouldn't have
it's a
asked about
guy.
husband either.
It was just like when she threw it, I was like, holy shit.
I think that also she has a relationship with her kids, she has to have a relationship with her husband.
That's the baby.
How does it affect her negative and positive?
Now, granted, we know certain things because we're in a classroom setting. You're not gonna
Yes.
know certain things about your client unless you ask. So that's gonna be one thing. And for you to know, we always ask a question thinking a reason that we're asking the question. We just don't
That's
ask a
what gets me
question for no
stuck.
reason.
Because I asked and can't explain why. So,
But I can see
That's
the
why I love
relation
Paulo
with
Coelho.
husband and, yeah, I can see it, because if you don't have a healthy relationship, then everything is kind of, there's a block
Then
for
it becomes
everything.
like a nasty thing for you.
Yeah.
Is
Right,
that
and that makes perfect sense, especially with the compliments. Because
Right,
who's the
yeah.
one who, your children don't really give you compliments. Your spouse would be the person
Oh,
that
no.
most gives you compliments. Well,
No,
in
I
your
don't know.
setting,
Another
you're setting
debatable.
your kids are almost like spouses. Or your
Yeah, I feel
husband is
my
like a
oldest-
child.
I feel like my oldest tries to like kind of, okay, I'm feeding the kids, and I'm like, you're the kid.
Oh, and I've had to say that to my own children, especially my daughter who's mini me. So I've had to say, I'm still the parent
Yes.
and you're the child.
Yeah.
Just we get that straight.
Just so you know,
Well,
it's your
going
oldest
back-
is 12.
Oh.
But
And he will say, I'm gonna feed the kids. I'm like, you're still a kid. Oh, I know, I'm just trying to help you. And then he'll say, man, I wish Daddy helped you.
But
I'm like,
going back,
What?
because he
also-
witnessed it, so that's,
Yeah.
And he
Speaking
wants
out of
to help
his
you
seat.
out. Remember, biologically,
So smart.
his father is crossed out.
Yep.
And it goes one or both, or the other way. The father's on the pedestal or the father's non-existent. In his case, the father's non-existent. So he has to take the stage and say, I'm the husband,
yeah,
even if there's a man there.
Oh yeah, it doesn't matter. He'll walk right in front and say, I helped you make dinner. And I'm like,
I also
you should catch on to that one.
I also remember when we talked, you also stated that you had to take care of your brother when he was younger because your mom wasn't all there. So you became a mom even before you had
Oh
your
yeah.
son.
And that's
Which
the only
is
reason
exactly-
I have the love I have for them. And I know, like, I saw how she parented, and now I see how I parent, and I know I give them more positive than negative. But I had to learn all that nurturing and stuff just from, like, seeing this crying baby in a crib. Like, are you gonna get him? No? Okay, I'll feed him before I go to school.
I have a question. You had said, maybe I was trying to hear too hard. Get your stuff fast over us. You had stated, now they're always with me. Was you ever separated from your kids?
No.
Okay.
But she
'Cause
was
that-
taken
that-
from her mom.
That's why I was wondering about that
Oh, okay,
phrase.
because you said that, and I was like,
Yeah, I was wondering about that phrase
I missed
too.
something. I missed, damn it,
Yeah.
I wasn't listening.
Oh, the state took me away from her. Which is why I say Florida's smarter than Georgia.
Yeah.
They took me away from her. And then with them, when I divorced their dad, I mean, I fought tooth and nail to make sure I kept my kids with me, and I have permanent custody. So he
She's-
can't even take
I'm not trying to put your business out there, but she's also fighting custody
from my stepdaughter.
her stepdaughter.
That is,
Yeah.
I like you. I like you.
Yeah.
And where is she?
She's with us. But we have to take her back Monday. We have court on Monday, we have to give her back to her mom.
She's going back to Georgia, which
Yeah.
is, yeah.
Which is why a lot of everything makes sense, but I have to put those blocks up so I can help her and I cannot lose my shit at court. Because the last time, like I said, what though? To the judge.
Oh, yeah, no, do that.
Oh, I did that one, I did that one.
We don't want to be on the
No,
pedestal
you
now.
don't wanna do that.
Yeah. And because I have the kids and they're solely dependent on me, my belief is my husband can come and go as much as he pleases. He could leave me forever and I will still have my children. So I have to be a mom first, a wife second. That's how I get through every day. I'm not gonna put him before you, so come on. But for her, I have to put all the emotional stuff I go through aside so I can be there for her right now. And then still try to keep a piece of me for the rest of them. So at the end of the day, I don't care what happens to Jimmy and my kids stay with me, I'm not gonna pawn them off.
Okay, now I just want to make it clear, everything is still limited beliefs. Everything is still erroneous thoughts, okay? If you have a client, and that's what you have to be careful of, if you have a client who has quote-unquote pawned off their kids to the father, I lost custody of my children. So I still had them 50-50, but he on paper, and I'm like you, and I believe that I was a piece of shit mother because I lost custody. I believe that's why I got cancer the first time. But if I were you as a therapist and I came as your client and you're speaking like this, oh my God, I would go home and kill myself. So we have to be careful as a therapist, not as a
Yeah.
client. As a client, you're free to talk whatever you want.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind because you don't know what the person is experiencing on the other side. That's why we share in relevance to what the person is sharing
Saying.
or what they're saying.
Okay.
Something
words-
that will help them.
If you can relate to a client, you can give them a little piece of your personal life because that also connects you, makes you more intimate with your client, and then it helps them to trust in you because you're sharing your life.
Yeah.
But it has to be relevant. You can't talk about custody with your children and then say, well, I just found out my husband's cheating on me. It has nothing to do with the client. That's not what you're there for.
I can relate to her just in the opposite sense, and also not so deep with your ex-husband. I was more my father's side, not my mother, and me and my mother have to work on our relationship. Just like I feel you and your mom should work, but yours is a
So
little.
that was very soon for a first session.
Oh, sorry.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
would-
No, you had mentioned that. That was one of the things I
Yeah.
wanted to comment on. That was rather soon for a first session. It was something that could have come off as an attack, almost like a judgment or a suggestion that was rooted on you. So we have to be careful what suggestions we're giving. And she was very clear to say, oh
No.
So she's very clear on that. But some clients aren't. So it could be, where they're impressionable or they feel insecure or they don't know, and then they go and now they're in the fire and they don't know how to get out or they made it worse. So we have to be very careful to not put our issues onto our client, okay? If we do not think that we can counsel someone appropriately because we have a view that is in contrast to them, then we refer out.
Okay. That was always a question of mine. You feel like, okay, I cannot.
Then you don't.
Then you have to refer.
You refer.
You have to put them first.
Yes,
And the first session especially, they need to feel comfortable with you. And if they feel they're being judged, they can turn around and say, well, I'm not coming back there anymore.
I mean, if you have a client, for instance, if she were racist and you have an African-American husband and she feels that she cannot counsel you,
Mhm.
she has to refer to you. She has to refer you.
But that's a good therapist.
Yeah,
That's one
that would be
Exactly.
unethical.
Yes.
There
And there's so
it is.
many that aren't,
There's,
unfortunately. but-
unfortunately, that you weren't. So there we go.
Very nice. Thank you both.
Good job.
Okay.
You're not doing it
So
the fun way.
everybody
Fun way is to kick.
Yeah,
did
I don't really.
the evals? Everybody got
Except
their,
for, should I turn it off?
oh yeah.